Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more Final Fantasy XIV coverage. Today I'd like to show you guys some gameplay as well as give you a little bit of an update to my impressions of the game so far. Now if you didn't see it, yesterday I put up a video giving some of my first impressions of the onset of the game. And basically what it all boiled down to is I was not impressed. I was actually quite disappointed with how this game introduces new players to its world and to its mechanics. Primarily that, you know, they throw you into this brand new town and give you a ton of busy quests to do that are rather just uninteresting. And I don't necessarily think people argue that it was, you know, progressing the story. I don't necessarily think that it was actually doing that. I think it was more just giving you busy work and having you walk around the town. But anyways, that aside, I've played the game now for I'd say about 4 to 5 more hours since yesterday's first impression video. And I have to say that I am actually pretty impressed. Like, I'm actually enjoying this game. I think it's pretty good. I think, you know, I was told this as well, that although it starts off slow and really not that interesting, that the game picks up and becomes much better as you progress through it. And so far, I'm still very early on in the game. I'm only level 17. You know, it's not like I've playing late game here, but so far, I think that's absolutely 100% true. I think that while it starts off pretty rough, it picks up and becomes a lot more interesting. Okay, so I've got a quest here. We're actually working on the main storyline quest. There's several different types of quests that you'll encounter within this game. What it essentially boils down to is you've got your main progression quests. There are your class quests. So for example, my class is the Marauder. And then there's the main storyline quest, which I'm actually going through and doing here. Oh, and here, this is perfect. We're going to be actually taking a look at a little bit of an encounter here. So let's go ahead and hit proceed. And then we'll be brought into a cutscene here. It's just going to be a little bit of dialogue between these two. But the big thing that's going to happen here is that we are going to probably fight some big bad enemy or waves of small enemies, something along those lines. Now the point of this video was not to have me sit here and read through dialogue for you, so we're just gonna click right through this stuff and kill whoever needs killing. Are these are the pirates? Okay, here we go. so I've got to defeat these pirates here and protect the victory, which I'm assuming is the name of the ship. So yeah, this is an example of a little instanced, and I've done a few of these now as we progress through the main story, a little instanced encounter that's just for me, or I assume if I was in a group that they could also be part of this, but it just helps progress the story along. So besides these main story and class quests, there's also a public group quest, which hopefully once we get through this I can show you one of those. I'd like to. I think we should be able to. We should have enough time. Again, I primarily just wanted to show off some gameplay of this game, because I didn't get the opportunity to do that before, because there was no gameplay to be had. I mean, you know, I suppose talking to NPCs is gameplay, but combat is what I mean more precisely. Okay. So let's just move through the town here, and there's gotta be some more bad guys. Oh, here we go. Oh, this guy. He looks like a real tough mamma jamma. I don't know. I can't, one thing that I can't stand though is the lack of voice acting in these cutscenes. I think primarily because I've grown so accustomed in modern day MMORPGs to having voice acting in this. And you know, the most terrible part of it all is that some of this game's cutscenes that look just like this and that you have to click through this dialogue, they're voice acted. Now it's a very small percentage, I'd say like 5 to 10%, but a small portion of these cutscenes are voice acted and then the rest of them aren't. It's really bothersome. It almost feels like my game's bugged out, but it's not the case. This is just literally how the game's designed. They voice act some of the cutscenes and they don't the rest. Really kind of baffling. I tell you guys, some of the design decisions for this game are really, really confusing to me. The way the game starts out, and then again, this whole cutscene fiasco, with some of them being acted and some of them not. I mean, I understand it. It clearly must have boiled down to a budget thing, where they didn't have the budget to voice act everything. But why even voice act some of them? If you're not, I don't know. Maybe that's a poor complaint, but it just seems kind of weird to me. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we get killing off these pirates. There's the head pirate, and what the heck? There's like a bunch of these level 20 wolf creatures. I feel like those things are probably gonna kill me. All right, I got a self-heal here, so we're gonna use that against him. Try to restore some of my HP without using any of my potions. So the game's combat system, if you couldn't tell so far, it's pretty standard tab targeting with a hotkey system. Basically what you see in the World of Warcraft or EverQuest, games of that nature, even Guild Wars 2 to an extent, although they do a little bit more of a dynamic system. It's still your tab targeting on enemies and you're using the hotbar and keybinds to take them out. I mean, it's standard fare, and I think the combat is actually pretty well done. Like, I like the combat animations. This game's a little over the top and flashy when it comes to the attacks and things of that nature. Just, I guess flashy is the word that I would use. It's just sort of in your face, very bright colors, very luminous attacks. It's kind of just saying the same thing. And beyond the combat animations themselves, I also think the sound quality and the responsiveness of the game, which are, I would say those three aspects are the most important things when it comes to having enjoyable combat. I'd say all those things are pretty spot on. Okay, so we defeated the evil captain and protected the ship, which is what we set out to do. So I'd say that's a glorious victory. Okay, fantastic. So we're gonna turn in this main storyline quest now. Now we finished that little encounter. Again, just a nice little instanced event to push along the story. And now, I would like to show you one of those group events that I talked about. There's one of them actually taking place right outside the town. It's at level 12. They're called Fate events, and the system is pretty much identical to what you saw in Guild Wars 2, in that it'll be this vicinity, which you can clearly see marked on the map, and there'll be multiple ones. You can see there's some up here as well, lower level ones up in the northern part of this map, but this one's around my level. I'm level 17, that's level 12, I can safely do that. In fact, you can do any of these group quests, because if you are too high level, it will scale your level down so that you can participate and still receive rewards and have it be beneficial for you without high level players trolling these low level encounters by one or two shotting things, because if they want to engage in the encounters, again, they're forced to scale down. Okay, so here's a group quest, a fate, if you will. So we just walk up and we do whatever it asks you to. A progress bar goes from 0 to 100%, and once it reaches 100%, everyone who participated gets an XP bonus and reward based on their participation. So if you join it late, you're not going to get as much experience as someone who is there from the very beginning. Literally, it's like the exact same system that was in Guild Wars 2, but that's okay because I think it's a good system. I think it's a good way of having quests that feel more organic, where you're just walking throughout the world and you just stumble upon things and you decide whether or not you want to engage in them. I have found that most times it's definitely worth doing these because their experience reward is so great and the time required is relatively short compared to normal quests, that it's, in terms of getting XP quickly, it seems to be a really good way to do that. So you can see we've got a couple other players here. There's got this archer over here, and there's some other person over there. She's just standing there though, so she's not going to get much of a reward. But we're just about finished. See that progress bar is very near 100%. There's also a clock, which is going to be the timer in terms of how much time is left. If you don't finish it in the time, it's considered failed, but you'll still get experience if you participated. So don't worry if you fail. So there you go. We finished it. I got 2600 experience, which that is at or better than the experience that I can normally get for a quest at my level. So again, as you can see, it's pretty good. And we got another one of them down over here. So let me actually head down and see what this one is about. Well, it looks like, I think there are other players. Are those other players? No, those are just NPCs. Okay, so this is pretty much the same. You can tell what needs to be done by what has that little purple icon above the name. You see that little purple circle thing there? So it's basically I need to kill these things. And we kill those things and we progress that bar forward. Same thing that you just saw me do, except this is with different NPCs. And what I've basically found is you're gonna get one of two quest types in these area quests. I haven't noticed any of these area quests being collection based. It's never been anything that says, you know, you can pick up twigs to progress the bar, which is something that Guild Wars 2 does. It's all been kill based as far as I've seen so far. Oh, there's that knockback that I walked right into. Yeah, it's all been kill based from what I've seen so far. Well, I'm like stuck in place. Stunned or whatever. There we go. But it's been either kill one very difficult enemy or kill several small, easy to eliminate enemies. Like this one is kill a bunch of small enemies. There's also this big guy, but I can't even. He's not even targetable, so we just have to kill all these small things. And yeah, pretty simple stuff. And I guess really that is it in terms of the quest. Like you saw that instanced quest that I first did for the main storyline, and then there are kill quests. There are collection quests for the base quest, but I was solely talking about these group fate events. I haven't seen any collection stuff for that, but yeah, there's basic collection quest as well and stuff of that nature. And that's essentially the questing system. Something else, I'm just gonna leave this because I don't want to sit here and finish all that. Not really the point of this video. Again, I just want to show you guys a little bit of gameplay and give you guys some of my updated impressions. So yeah, I would say that the combat system I found enjoyable, and overall I am enjoying the game. It doesn't feel like anything brand new, fresh, and exciting, with the exception of the fact that it's a new world for me, you know? Like, with the exception of the fact that it's a new MMO, it still feels like a standard MMO. Now, I talked about that lack of voice acting, which was kind of bothersome. Something else that really bothers me is the lack of NPC chatter within the world. So a lot of MMOs and just RPGs in general nowadays will have it so that when you walk by NPCs, they'll be having a conversation that you can overhear, or you can click on them and they'll say something. I mean, even World of Warcraft, which is quite old now, has that. And look, you can see, even though we failed that group quest that I took part in, I still got some XP for that. But yeah, even WoW, you'll walk by NPCs and you'll hear them, you know, laughing or doing emotes, and if you click on them, they'll say something to you. There's nothing like that in this game. You can have conversations with them, but it's all text-based, which is fine. It's not that I mind reading. It's just that I think I've grown accustomed to hearing NPC chatter, again, when I walk by or click on them, and to not have that audio portion of the game, it sort of makes the world feel a little dead to me. It just doesn't feel as lively as other MMOs that have that NPC chatter within the world. So that's an unfortunate part of this game that I feel like had they had the budget to include that type of, you know, between the cutscenes and then just, again, NPC chatter within the world, if they had had the budget, I think that would have made this game feel a lot more alive than it does now, because the world does feel a little empty for that reason. But again, you can, as you saw, you can still talk to NPCs through text. It's just a sort of a different experience, that's all. And I guess that's really gonna do it. Like I said, I just wanted to give you guys some of my updated impressions, as well show you a little bit of gameplay. We took a look at a couple of the quests. There's also dungeons in this game, which I may show you in a future video if there is any interest in further coverage of this title. But so far, yeah, it seems pretty good. I'm actually, yeah, I don't think it's that bad. There you go. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Force here. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.